You might think that if you wake up in the middle of the night, making a just-in-case trip to the bathroom is the smartest thing you can do. But after the age of 50 or 60, that single habit could be the very reason you can't sleep through the night anymore. It seems so logical, right? It's what we've always figured was the right move. Empty the bladder, and you buy yourself more uninterrupted sleep. I used to believe this myself. Waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. became a regular thing for me, and my first instinct was always to head straight to the bathroom, thinking I was solving the problem. But I was actually making it worse. The truth is, this habit does nothing to address the real reason you're waking up, which could be anything from hormonal shifts to blood sugar fluctuations. And worse, it actively trains your brain and bladder to work against you. You're essentially creating a vicious cycle that guarantees you'll wake up night after night. In this video, I'm going to shatter the 5 most common myths about nighttime waking that are absolutely destroying your sleep. Many of these I believed myself for years. And the number one myth we'll bust is the most dangerous of all, because it often causes people to ignore a silent warning sign from their body about a much more serious underlying health condition. So stay with me until the very end, because understanding this information won't just improve your nights, it could genuinely protect your long-term health. And before we dive in, if you're ready to finally reclaim your deep, restorative sleep, please smash that like button right now. It truly helps our message reach more wonderful people like you who need to hear it. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our vital health tips, and drop a comment below telling us where you're watching from. I absolutely love connecting with our global family and reading your comments. So, the problem isn't just that you're waking up, it's the web of false beliefs that keep you trapped in the cycle. It's time to untangle that web. Let's break down the 5 biggest myths that I, and maybe you, have fallen for. We'll count down from a very common yet flawed piece of advice to the single most critical misunderstanding at the end. Let's start with myth number 5, the dehydration trap. Just drink less in the evening. This is the first piece of advice everyone gets. It sounds like pure common sense. If you don't want to get up to pee, don't put so much fluid in your body before bed. Many people try this. They cut off all liquids after 6 p.m., determined to solve the problem. But then, a week later, they find nothing has changed. Or worse, they feel like they have to go even more urgently, even if it's just a small amount. They end up confused and frustrated, thinking their body is just broken. The real issue is that this advice is based on a complete misunderstanding of how your bladder works. The secret lies in understanding urine concentration. When you severely restrict your fluid intake, you don't just produce less urine, you produce much more concentrated urine. How does this work? Your kidneys are trying to conserve water, so they pack all the waste products, like urea and other mineral salts, into a smaller volume of liquid. What does that do? This highly concentrated dark yellow urine is a powerful irritant. It acts like sandpaper on the sensitive lining of your bladder, known as the urothelium. This irritation sends loud, aggressive emergency, you must go now, signals to your brain, even if your bladder is only a quarter full. So you've created a new problem. Your bladder is now hypersensitive. You've traded volume for irritation, and irritation is a much stronger trigger for waking you up. And this isn't just a theory. While direct studies on this specific myth are woven into broader research on bladder health, the principle is well established in urology. For instance, a comprehensive review in the journal Reviews in Urology back in 2014 detailed how bladder irritants are a key factor in symptoms of overactive bladder, which includes urinary urgency and frequency. Concentrated urine is consistently listed as one of those primary irritants. You are essentially giving yourself a temporary case of overactive bladder every single night. So, what's the right way to do it? The key is not less hydration, but smarter hydration. You need to front load your fluids. Think of your day like a hydration pyramid. The wide base is in the morning. From the moment you wake up until about 2 p.m., that's your prime time for drinking water, herbal teas, and other healthy fluids. The middle section is the afternoon, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., where you can slow down a bit. The very top, the narrow point of the pyramid, is the evening. For the last 3 hours before you plan to go to sleep, you stop drinking large glasses of anything. If you're thirsty, you should only take small, gentle sips of water, just enough to wet your mouth. A good target is to have consumed about 80% of your daily fluids by 6 p.m. This gives your kidneys plenty of time to process the liquid and fill your bladder, allowing you to empty it fully before you even get under the covers. Have you ever tried the drink less at night trick and found it completely failed? I know I have. Share your experience with it in the comments below. It helps others know they're not alone. Now for myth number 4, the age excuse. It's just a part of getting older. This is perhaps the most disempowering myth of them all. You mention your sleep troubles to a friend or even a doctor, and you get that familiar knowing nod. Ah yes, you're over 50 now. It's just what happens. Welcome to the club. It's a statement of resignation. It makes you feel helpless, like your body is on a one-way track to decline and you're just a passenger. For years, I watched my older relatives accept this as fact, and I started to believe it myself. I thought, well, I guess this is just my new normal. But this belief is a trap that prevents you from seeking real solutions. Let's be clear. Yes, physiological changes do happen as we age. It's not a complete fantasy. For men, the prostate gland naturally enlarges, a condition known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. This can put pressure on the urethra and bladder, leading to incomplete emptying and more frequent urges. For both men and women, the pelvic floor muscles, which support the bladder, can lose some of their tone. Furthermore, our brains produce less of a crucial substance called antidiuretic hormone, or ADH, at night. ADH is the signal that tells your kidneys to slow down urine production while you sleep. Less ADH means more urine is produced overnight. But here is the critical point. These are factors, not a life sentence. Your lifestyle choices have a profound ability to counteract these changes. Believing it's just age is like saying a car is destined to break down without acknowledging the importance of oil changes and regular maintenance. The science is overwhelmingly on the side of empowerment. For instance, a landmark study published in the Journal of Urology explored the connection between lifestyle factors and nocturia. Researchers found that things like obesity, lack of physical activity, and unmanaged metabolic issues were incredibly strong predictors of nighttime waking. In fact, another study from 2018 in the International Journal of Clinical Practice showed that patients who engaged in a structured program of lifestyle modifications saw significant improvements in their nocturia symptoms, rivaling the effects of some medications. Age was a backdrop, not the main character in their story. So what's the actionable plan here? It's about managing the things you can control. Here are 2 powerful how-to tips. First, manage hidden fluid retention. Throughout the day, gravity pulls fluid down into your legs and ankles. When you lie down flat at night, all that fluid re-enters your bloodstream and is sent to the kidneys to be filtered out. This is a huge, hidden source of nighttime urine. The solution? 1 to 2 hours before bed, lie down on the couch or in bed and elevate your legs on a few pillows. This simple act allows that fluid to be reabsorbed and processed by your kidneys before you go to sleep, letting you empty your bladder of that leg fluid ahead of time. Second, watch your evening salt intake. A high sodium dinner forces your body to retain more water, which it will then try to get rid of overnight. A 2017 study presented to the European Society of Urology found that simply reducing dietary salt intake led to a dramatic decrease in nighttime urination for participants. So, skip the salty processed snacks and heavy sauces at dinner. What's one thing you've always been told is just a part of aging that you've managed to improve or challenge? I'd love to read about your victories in the comments. This brings us to myth number 3, the just-in-case trip, training your bladder for failure. We touched on this in the intro, but it's so important we need to break it down completely. This myth is born from anxiety. You wake up for some other reason, maybe a noise, a dream, or a shift in temperature. You're lying there in the dark, and the thought creeps in. Well, I'm awake anyway. I might as well go to the bathroom now so I don't have to get up again in an hour. It feels proactive. It feels smart. I did this for years, thinking I was outsmarting my own body. What I was actually doing was enrolling my bladder in a terrible training program. The science behind this is fascinating, and it's called bladder conditioning. Your bladder is a remarkable organ. It's a muscular reservoir designed to stretch. A healthy adult bladder can comfortably hold around 16 ounces, or about 2 cups of fluid. The urge to urinate doesn't typically begin until it's about half full. When you consistently empty it at the slightest sensation, or when it's only 20–30% full, you're sending a powerful message to the nerve receptors in the bladder wall. That message is, this small amount of fluid is the new full. This is the new definition of urgency. Over time, your brain-bladder connection recalibrates. Your bladder essentially becomes smaller in its functional capacity, not its physical size, but in how much it will hold before screaming at your brain. You're creating the very problem you're trying to avoid, a bladder that panics at the smallest provocation. It's like checking your email every 2 minutes. Soon, you feel a phantom urge to check it even when no new mail has arrived. The proof for this is rooted in the gold standard treatment for overactive bladder, which is, ironically, bladder training. Urologists and physical therapists have used this for decades. A study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society confirmed that a structured bladder training regimen, which involves resisting the first urge to go, was highly effective in reducing urinary frequency and urgency in older adults. The entire therapy is based on reversing the damage caused by the just-in-case habit. It works by teaching the bladder to hold more fluid again, stretching those nerve receptors back to their normal, calmer state. So what is the how-to for breaking this habit? It requires mindfulness. The moment you wake up at night, your first action should not be to throw off the covers. It should be to pause, lie still, take a few slow, deep breaths, then do a mental check-in. Ask yourself, am I just awake, or do I feel a true, undeniable physical pressure in my bladder? Often, you'll find the urge is very mild, a background noise your brain latched onto because you were awake. Your mission is to learn to separate I am awake from I have to pee. If the urge is mild, try to ignore it. Change your sleeping position. Think about something calming. Tell yourself you will wait 15 minutes. The goal is to prove to your brain that it doesn't need to panic. By consistently adding just a little bit of time between the initial sensation and the trip to the bathroom, you gradually and gently retrain your bladder to be calm and hold a normal amount of fluid through the night. Let's be honest in the comments, is the just-in-case bathroom trip a regular habit for you? There's no judgment here. Recognizing the habit is the first step to changing it. Alright, on to myth number 2, the supplement skeptic. It's all a scam. There's a lot of cynicism around supplements, and frankly, it's well deserved. The market is flooded with products that make outrageous claims and contain little more than pixie dust. You see ads for miracle pills that will supposedly solve all your problems overnight. This has led many smart, discerning people, maybe even you, to conclude that all supplements are a waste of money, a modern form of snake oil. I was a huge skeptic myself. I believed that diet and exercise were the only things that mattered, and everything else was just a clever marketing ploy to separate people from their cash. But this all-or-nothing thinking is a myth. While it's true that you should be highly skeptical of vague, proprietary blends, it's a mistake to ignore specific, well-researched compounds that can offer targeted support. The problem isn't the idea of supplementation, it's the lack of specificity. Saying supplements don't work is like saying food is unhealthy. It's too broad. Is a greasy fast food burger the same as a fresh avocado? Of course not. In the same way, a cheap, poorly absorbed form of a mineral is not the same as a high-quality, bioavailable compound studied in clinical trials. For nighttime health, there are a few key players. One is magnesium. It's often called the relaxation mineral for a reason. It plays a role in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including calming the nervous system and relaxing smooth muscle tissue. Your bladder wall, the detrusor muscle, is smooth muscle. A magnesium deficiency can lead to cramping and spasming, not just in your legs, but in your bladder too. Another key player for men is pumpkin seed extract, which has been studied for its ability to support prostate health and calm bladder activity. The scientific evidence for these specific compounds is robust. Let's take magnesium. A 2012 study published in the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences found that supplementing with magnesium significantly improved sleep quality, sleep time, and the ability to wake up refreshed in older adults. It was shown to help regulate melatonin and reduce cortisol, the stress hormone. Now, for pumpkin seed extract. A Japanese study from 2014 had men with symptoms of overactive bladder take pumpkin seed extract for 12 weeks. The results, published in the Journal of Traditional and Complementary Medicine, showed a significant reduction in urinary frequency and nighttime waking. These aren't vague claims, they are measurable results from controlled studies. So, how do you approach this intelligently? It's all about quality and specificity. First, always, and I mean always, talk to your doctor before starting any new supplement, especially if you have existing health conditions or are on medication. If you get the green light, look for quality forms. For magnesium, avoid the cheap magnesium oxide, which has poor absorption and is more likely to cause digestive issues. Instead, look for magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate, which are much better absorbed by the body. A typical starting dose is around 200 to 400 milligrams taken in the evening. For pumpkin seed extract, you want to look for a standardized extract, often from water-soluble sources, as this is what has been used in many of the successful studies. Follow the dosage on the label from a reputable brand. This isn't about popping a magic pill, it's about providing your body with the specific raw materials it might be lacking to function optimally. Have you ever had a positive experience with a specific supplement that genuinely surprised you? I'd be curious to hear which one it was in the comments. And now, we've arrived at the number one myth, the most important one to understand. Myth number one, the silent warning. If it doesn't hurt, it's not a problem. This is the myth that I find most concerning, because it's a dangerous oversimplification. We tend to associate health problems with clear, unavoidable signals like pain, a fever, or a visible injury. If we're just getting up to pee a few times a night and there's no burning, no pain, no discomfort, it's easy to write it off as a simple annoyance, an inconvenience. We think, it's not painful, so it can't be serious. We focus on the symptom itself, the act of waking up, instead of asking the most important question, why is this happening? We assume the problem is the bladder, when in fact the bladder is often just the messenger for a much bigger issue happening elsewhere in the body. The hard truth is that frequent nighttime urination, clinically known as nocturia, is not a disease in itself. It is a major symptom, and it can be one of the earliest warning signs for several serious systemic health conditions that might otherwise be silent. Let's talk about three of the big ones. First, obstructive sleep apnea. This is a condition where you repeatedly stop and start breathing during sleep. When this happens, the oxygen levels in your blood drop, and your heart is put under stress. In response to this stress, your heart releases a hormone called atrial natriuretic peptide, or ANP. The primary job of ANP is to tell your kidneys to get rid of salt and water to lower your blood volume and reduce the strain on the heart. The result? Your kidneys go into overdrive, producing a large amount of urine and waking you up. Many people are treated for an overactive bladder for years when the real problem is sleep apnea. Second, undiagnosed high blood pressure or early congestive heart failure. A healthy heart is an efficient pump. When your heart is struggling, it's less efficient at managing the fluid in your body. This can lead to fluid buildup during the day. Remember the swollen ankles we talked about? At night, when you're lying down, your weakened heart has an easier time pumping that excess fluid to the kidneys. Your body is trying to bail out the boat, and the signal is a full bladder at 3 a.m. Nocturia is considered a major independent predictor of cardiovascular mortality for this reason. Third, uncontrolled blood sugar or diabetes. When there's too much glucose or sugar in your blood, your kidneys have to work overtime to filter it out. To do this, they pull extra water from your body to help flush out the sugar, leading to a dramatic increase in urine production, both day and night. For many people, waking up to pee frequently is one of the very first signs that their blood sugar is dangerously high. This isn't fear-mongering, it's established medical science. A 2019 review in the European Heart Journal explicitly named nocturia as a significant indicator of increased risk for cardiovascular events. Numerous studies in journals like Sleep Medicine Reviews have confirmed the powerful link between sleep apnea and nocturia, showing that treating the apnea with a CPAP machine often dramatically reduces or even eliminates the nighttime urination. So the how-to here is the most important in this entire video. It's not a home remedy, it is a shift in mindset. Start taking your nocturia seriously. If you are consistently getting up 2 or more times a night to urinate, you need to mention it to your doctor at your next appointment. And don't just say, I get up at night a lot. Be specific. Use the word nocturia. Ask them directly, could my nocturia be a sign of something else? Should I be screened for sleep apnea? How is my blood pressure and could there be a link? Should we check my A1C to see what my blood sugar is doing? Be your own health advocate, viewing nocturia as a potential check engine light instead of an annoying squeak can make all the difference. This last point is the most critical. If this video has made you think differently about this symptom, please just type paying attention in the comments below to let me know this message landed. Now, I know after all this, the biggest question is still, this is a lot of information. What can I actually do tonight to start making a difference? It can feel overwhelming. So let's simplify it down to a 3-step action plan you can begin immediately. Rule number 1, hydration timing. This is non-negotiable. 3 hours before your planned bedtime, you stop drinking any large volume of liquid. No big glasses of water, no tea, no juice. If your mouth is dry, you are allowed small sips of water only. That's it. This is your foundation. Rule number 2, the pre-sleep routine. 1 full hour before you get into bed to sleep, find a comfortable place to lie down and elevate your legs on 2 or 3 pillows. You can do this while you read a book, listen to music, or talk with your partner. This single action helps your body process and eliminate the fluid that is pooled in your legs before you're trying to achieve deep sleep. Rule number 3, the wake-up pause. This is your mental training. If and when you do wake up, you do not jump out of bed. You pause. You lie still. You take 5 slow, deep, calming breaths. And you ask yourself that key question. Is this a true, strong physical need to go, or am I just awake? If it's not a strong urge, you try to fall back asleep. Even if you only manage to wait 10 minutes, that's a win. You are beginning the process of reconditioning your bladder. So, my friends, today we've talked about more than just bathroom trips. We have dismantled the myths that keep us feeling tired, old, and powerless. This is about understanding and respecting your body's complex signals. It's about taking back control and reclaiming the deep, uninterrupted, restorative sleep that you absolutely deserve. I'm not asking you to change your whole life overnight. That's not realistic. I'm asking you to pick just one thing from this video that resonated with you the most. Just one. Maybe it's the leg elevation trick. Maybe it's deciding to finally have that conversation with your doctor. Choose that one small step and commit to trying it for the next week. Which myth were you falling for the most? Let me know your answer in the comments. And if this video gave you a new sense of hope or a new perspective, just type the word awake in the comments section. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications so we can continue on this health journey together. Take care. May your nights be peaceful and your mornings full of bright energy. I'll see you in the next video.